my name is Natalia, this is Crafting with Natalia, and this is a Flosstube video. So, if you're new to this channel, thank you so much for stopping by. Thank you for visiting, for spending your time with me, and also if you're returning, just the same, thank you even more for coming back again, for spending time with me again. It's so lovely to have you here. Yeah, hopefully you enjoy it here and you come back for the next video. Today it's weird. Well, it's always weird around here, but today is weird because I'm filming in the evening and I'm not really an evening person, so I don't know how that's gonna go. I'm more of a, well, I'm a morning person, really. My brain works the best in the morning, and then throughout the day it kind of well, it's got like ups and downs, but it's more up in the morning and in the the earlier part of the day, and towards the evening it kind of goes a bit and then I get tired. So really I shouldn't be filming now, but then I really wanted to record this Flosstube and I was like, no, I'm going to film it. But I don't know how that's gonna go. So let's see. I've got lots to tell you, but I also don't want to make this video too long because my videos are always too long, and also because it is late and I'm gonna get really tired. So I'm going to try and speak, speak quickly, briefly, maybe not so quickly. Well, I always speak a bit quickly, but I can't pronounce words, so I can't speak any quicker than I speak. But I said it fast, didn't I? Like when I said I can't speak quicker, I kind of said it quicker. It's funny how the brain works. But anyway, so I'm not gonna speak more quickly than normal, but I'm going to try and be more brief, but it's already not working because I'm already rambling. But the main thing, okay, so what I want to talk to you today about see, my brain isn't working. This is gonna be a fun one. Apologies for my sentences not making any sense and not being in order. Hopefully you still enjoy the stitching, at least, if nothing else. Okay, so today I really want to speak to you about my retreats. Well, the retreats that I went to over the past 2-3 weeks. So in my last Flosstube I told you that I was preparing to go to retreats, and I've been. So the first retreat I went to was the Floss Friends UK. And the Floss Friends UK was a new retreat. Well, actually both of the retreats I went to were new retreats, both in the UK. And the Floss Friends UK was organized by Sammy from Little Loop Stitching here on YouTube. She also has an Etsy shop, and I will link her channel below. I will link all of the channels I mention here today below in the description. So yes, so Sammy and Andrea, who doesn't have, as far as I know, she still doesn't have a Flosstube channel, but I know she's thinking about it, so maybe soon. But Andrea also was organizing it together with Sammy, and they're both lovely, and it was so nice meeting them. And it was so lovely meeting everybody. I'm hoping some of you are here watching this crazy video, because I finally made a few, I wanted to say floss friends, but like I guess I want to say stitchy friends, I don't know, but I guess it's floss friends too. Anyway, I made a few real life stitchy friends, which is something that I was kind of dreaming about. I really wanted it because, well, I've been stitching for, I think it's coming close to 2 years now, but I started off slow, you know, kind of gradually build up and went a bit crazy about it. But I think it's coming close to 2 years. So I think maybe I've been watching Flosstube for about 1.5 years, or maybe a bit more than that. But so far I've only, well, initially I didn't really have any stitchy friends because I was mostly doing diamond painting initially, and I made some lovely diamond painting friends online. But then I struggled to connect, to find anyone from like the stitching community to connect to. And eventually through this channel and through the Instagram account, I was able to meet some lovely people online. Started to message with some people, exchange some emails. You know who you are. And that's lovely, but I've never ever had a real life stitchy friend. And now, after the retreats, I finally can say that, well, I think so. I don't know if you guys think you're my friends, but I think you're my friends if you're watching. Maybe nobody's watching. But I think some people are at least. Well, no, you know what was wonderful? Let me just, I've got some tea here. Yeah, so you can also have a sip of something in the meantime. Tra-la-la. Okay, it's better to drinking when it's still warm. But what I wanted to say, what was so wonderful about the retreats, and I'm sorry guys, I'm rambling, but this is important. This is actually why I really wanted to record this video, is to tell you about my retreats. So if you're not interested in hearing my experiences of the retreats, of course I will also show my whips, but well, maybe you can skip forward if you're not interested. Maybe skip another 10 minutes. I don't know how long. try in a few minutes, and maybe I'll be showing the stitching. But what I wanted to say is that I went to, so the first retreat, as I said, was the Floss Friends retreat, and that one was happening in Redford. And so I took my suitcase, I got a train, and I got myself to Redford the night before the retreat started. And then in the morning of the retreat, I got so anxious and so scared. And I felt, oh, what am I doing here? Like, you know, it's gonna be full of people who know what they're doing. I'm a beginner stitcher. I'm not a very serious stitcher. I kind of just make crosses and hope for the best, you know. I'm I'm not like a very precise, and my stitches, they're a bit wonky. My backs are not finished properly. My framing is never done properly. So I'm like, why am I going? Like, this is gonna be ridiculous. All these people who do really nice, you know, stitch beautifully and know so much about stitching, and I don't know anything, and I don't do anything that nicely. So I was having all those thoughts. I went to have breakfast in a hotel, and I had shaky hands, and I was like, oh no, I don't know how I'm gonna go there at all. And then when I got to so I was staying in another hotel, and then it was just 10 minutes walk from the other hotel. And when I got to the retreat hotel, then like I could hear already, so the stitching room was upstairs, but I could at the entrance already hear the noise from the stitching room, like it was full of people and full of chatter. And I was like, oh no. Because I just the noise, the knowing how many people there are, and they're all chatting away, they're all having a good time, and what am I gonna do that, like, you know, what am I gonna do alone? And I with my poor stitching, I was scared to take any of my projects out and show it to people. I'm like, oh, this is terrible. This was a terrible idea. But I went all the way to Redford from London just for that. I stayed in a hotel for that. I couldn't just like turn back and say, okay, I'm not going in. It would just be too bad. So I thought, okay, at least I'm gonna go in. If it's really, really bad, then I guess the worst thing, I'll leave, and you know, if I'll forget it forever, and that's it. But it wasn't bad. It wasn't bad, and I definitely don't want to forget it. Yeah, it was, well, initially it was very scary, and I walked into the room, very scared, but straight away I was welcomed by people I didn't know. I was welcomed at a lovely stitchy table, full of experienced stitchers, who definitely knew what they were doing, but they didn't ever make me feel like I don't know, like my stitching wasn't adequate, or like I shouldn't be there. Like, they were very, very welcoming and very, very lovely, and I'm really glad I met them. But then I started walking around the room, and I bumped into two lovely people that were there kind of also, I guess, partially through me, because they're actually my subscribers here on YouTube. And so I met two of my subscribers in real life, and how exciting is that? And they are both so lovely and wonderful, and I'm just so glad that I was able to meet them in real life. And what's more, they were as scared or anxious as I was, and it was so nice knowing that I'm not alone feeling this way. and we could support each other through this experience, you know, just kind of being there together. So fortunately, so because both of them kind of, so I think one of them, Edita, she's also from Poland, which is great as well. Edita was already at another table, but Justine, I think, arrived just after I arrived, and she also sat at the same table as me, next to me. So I was able to spend the 2 days sitting next to Justine, who's one of my subscribers and who is so lovely and wonderful, and she never made me feel like I was, I don't know, like I shouldn't have been there, and I don't know, I think it was just wonderful to have people welcome me that I would have never met if I haven't had this channel. Because, you know, sometimes I think, why do I have this channel? You know, I'm not that good a stitcher, I don't really know very much about stitching, so why should I make these videos? But if I was not making these videos, I would have never met these two wonderful people. And then more people at the second retreat as well. So, because then when I walked into the second retreat, which was Stitch in London, I got welcomed by Karen. Karen, who's another person that's, well, I think she's a subscriber. I never asked her, but she said she's watching my videos, and she said she heard me saying in my last video to say hello when I arrive, and she wanted to just welcome me there, and she was so lovely as well. And it was such a pleasure meeting everybody that maybe also that I watched on Flosstube, because I met other Flosstubers. How cool is that? So when I was, and that reminds me that I was meant to grab something before I started recording this video, and I didn't. But when I was in Redford, I met Lauren from Flossabilities. Which is like a Flosstube celebrity here in the UK, I think. I don't know. She was one of the first Flosstubers I was watching, I think. Yeah, I think she was one of the first ones I came across. And she was stitching these 3 full coverage projects that she was like consistently working on for like a year or something. And she's finished all 3 of them, and they're beautiful. And she brought 2 of them there, so we were able to see them in real life. I will try maybe an insert, if I'm not sure if I have video with her projects there, because I maybe recorded a video on the second day and she was only there on the first day. But you should definitely check out her channel. Again, this will be linked in the description below. And then I met other lovely ladies. So another Flosstuber I met that I wasn't familiar with was Lizzie Fisher, who is also such a lovely person, and it was so nice meeting her, and you should definitely check out her channel as well. Who else? Let me think. I don't want to miss out anybody. Oh yes, so in Stitch in London, well, of course, Stitch in London was organized by Marie from Stitches and Diamonds, I think is the channel name. Again, linked below. So Marie, it was so lovely. She's such a wonderful person, and she was so organized. Like, that retreat was so well organized, even though it was done the first time ever. And she was so kind and sweet and welcoming to everybody. So it was a pleasure meeting her in person, and her husband, who was supporting her through the whole event, even though he's not a stitcher yet. And then, well, there was another Flosstube celebrity there from all the way from Canada. So that was Caroline from Off the Grid Needle Arts. She has Evertoads, so she sells all these lovely fabrics and flosses, Leo and Roxy floss, and she's got these lovely collaborations with Jacob from Modern Folk Embroidery and other designers, and I've always seen her on YouTube. She somehow always pops up on my feed. I don't know why, but she's one of the most recommended Flossivers for me, so I always see her face there, and I was telling her that, and she was laughing, and it was really, really lovely to have a chat with her as well, and to meet her friends as well. Yeah, so that was wonderful. Yeah, and Yasmin, yeah, so Yasmin, I think her Polish name is Gosia, but you may know her as Yasmin from, what's her channel? Yasmin Made with Love. That's what it is. I wasn't actually, I didn't used to watch Yasmin because I think I've heard about her at some point and I was going to check her out and I forgot. And then I only started hearing about her a few days just before the retreat. And then I didn't get a chance to watch her videos, but I've watched some of them now. And she's a wonderful Flosstuber, wonderful person as well. And she's from Poland originally as well. She stitches a lot of Barbara Anna designs, and I think that's what she's known for. It sounds like it. But yeah, another lovely person, and she lives here in London as well. So you know, it's lovely to meet another stitchy friends from the same city as me. Yay! So that's wonderful. Then there was also Ross, who has also a channel on here, and an Etsy shop from, I think, I should have checked the name before, but I think it's Ross Clark Crafts, if I'm correct. And if not, I'll put a correction. Well, anyway, you'll find it in the description below again, and everybody I'm referring to. So I think these are the main people I can think of, but there was lots of Flosstubers, lots of Instagram. Almost everybody had Instagram, or I think some people created Instagram after the events to join the fun. So of course I can't say everybody, and it would be hard to remember everybody who was there, but it was wonderful meeting all these people. So yeah, so totally worth it. I can only say, if you worried, like if you're anxious to go to a retreat, if you've never been, please don't be, because people are just so wonderful. The amount of gifts I received, you know what, I just looked at the screen and I forgot to mention the pumpkins. Well, I mean, I have a whole pile of stuff that I brought with me. Some of them are gifts, some of them I bought, some of them I won in the raffle. But I got these. Sometimes people would just come to your table and just give you stuff. But also, you know how I told you, Edita, the Polish lady who's my subscriber, she was so kind and she gave me stuff. Like, just straight away, she gave me gifts. And like, why? Like, I don't deserve this. But I think... I guess I got 2 pumpkins, and and now I'm trying to remember. I think this one Edita made. I think so, that Edita made this pumpkin, and I think this pumpkin I got from Lizzie. But you know, it's all blending together now. Who gave me what? Because I got so many things from so many people. I don't know anymore. And also Edita gave me this cute little light, so I thought I'll put it here for tonight because it's evening. So yes, so that's lovely. Yay! Yes, so I will, at the end of the video, I will go through some of the things that I brought with me. I think it's impossible to go through everything, because also even I got confused how many things I got and where I've put them all. But I'll go through some of the things I got at the end of the video. And now I think we should talk about stitching, but let me just have a look at my notes. Yeah, okay, yes. So I think, yeah, pumpkins, yes, I mentioned the pumpkins, good. See, I didn't want to forget. Right, so I think I'm gonna have a sip of my tea, and I'm gonna bring that thing that I forgot to bring earlier, and then we can talk about my stitching. Okay, ready for the stitching. So the thing that I forgot to put here before the video is actually one of the smalls that I received in a small exchange, and that's a funny story actually. But so both retreats I participated in smalls exchange, though I really wasn't sure, you know, if my smalls were good enough, and I'm still not sure if they were, but I did my best. I made something. Hopefully that person who received it enjoyed it. But the funny thing was, in the first retreat, that was where, on the day when, in Redford, when Lauren from Flossabilities was there, and she's such a nice person. She was there with her mom as well, and her mom is also such a nice person. But anyway, Lauren, they were leaving early, and they were picking the smalls before they left, and she picked mine. And it was so sweet, and she seemed happy with it, hopefully. But I think she's such a nice person that she would never say that she's not happy, but it was very, very sweet of her to show so much appreciation for my little attempt at the paperweight that I showed in the last video. But the funny thing is, then the next day, well, I was leaving early the next day, and then I was picking my small, and I picked this little package from like the bottom of the box. I was like browsing, and then eventually I picked that little package that was like wrapped in this cute cute paper wrap, I think, or material. It was actually like a fabric wrap, and I picked it and went to open it, and it turns out it was actually from Lauren as well. So we basically did a direct swap. She got mine, I got hers, but I wanted to show you. This is what she made. Let's see if you can, hopefully you can see it. Sorry if the lighting isn't great. It is evening and my camera sometimes doesn't focus very well, but hopefully it is focusing now. So she stitched this lovely design. I think this is part of a design from the Owl Forest embroidery, the one with pumpkins and something else, squirrels obviously. But I don't know, actually I can't remember what the full, I'm not sure if I'm familiar with this design. I must have seen it because I'm on their website so much, but I can't remember what the rest of the design looks like, but it looks definitely like Owl Forest embroidery. So she made it into this little hanging ornament, and she put this lovely fabric with pumpkins at the back as well, and finished it with a bit of a cording. So it's beautiful. It's very, very cute autumn stitching. I love it. And so it was sitting on my shelf, and so yeah, now I can put it here, maybe. Ooh, okay. More autumn stuff. Lovely, lovely, lovely. So I was very, very happy with that, obviously. And then on the second retreat, I received another beautiful, beautiful small. So actually, I went like I was like at the end of the queue, and then there was only like this big Christmas bag left with lots of stuff in it. So I got a really big small with lots of stuff in it, lots of gifts. So I didn't think I deserved that, but but well, it was very kind of the person who gave me the small to include all these little bits and pieces, and her stitching is absolutely beautiful, and her finishing, it's, oh my goodness, yeah, I've got a long way to go before I can finish anything like she does. So the person who gave me my small, she left me a little note, and on the note it says that her name is Anne-Marie. I met her as well, and she's lovely. Everybody's lovely. But you can find her on Instagram at stitching.merrily. Again, I will maybe try and put it in description below, stitching.merrily. And I think you should follow her because, yeah, she does beautiful stitching. So this is what I got. So this is like a Christmas joy design, which she said what it is. I'm just making it up. It's not this. So this is actually called Winter Joy. It's a flat fold, and the designer of this is Little by Little Designs. Okay, and so hopefully you can see. So it's got these cute little birds. It's got a little charm here, and that charm is like a heart on the fence. And it's, it's very Christmassy and whatnot, very cute. And then it's finished beautifully, very professionally into this flat fold. Something that I wish one day I could recreate, but I think that's gonna be a while. I will try one day to recreate. At least now I have this. It's actually really useful for me to have this as an example of what a finished flat fold should look like. Something I can aspire to in the future, right? That's what it is. So yes, so that's something, yes, inspiration that will stay here. Well, I will put it up for during Christmas time. Now I don't know, I'll put it somewhere safe and then take it out for Christmas time, but I can always look back at it, and it can be my inspiration for my future finishes. So that's wonderful. And she also attached this little card with cross stitch as well. How cute is that? It's very, very lovely. There was lots of things. Some of them I may show you later. But yeah, just people are so generous. Cross stitch people are amazingly generous, I have to say. So yeah, I feel inspired after all this. Right, let me look at my notes again. Let me have another sip of tea so that I know what I'm doing. But I don't really know what I'm doing. I think that's what I was going to say. Because I want to show you what I've worked on over the past few weeks or so. But it's been a bit of a chaotic, I don't know. I feel like I've worked on so many different things, a little bit on this, a little bit on that, and I think even I'm forgetting what exactly I worked on and in what order. So this is going to be a little bit, I'm just going to show you this and show you this and show you this, but I may have missed something. I may have forgotten that I've worked on something. So if I forget, I'll just show you next time. Okay, but yes, I'm gonna have some tea. You guys also have some tea now. Oh yes, one thing that I was meant to say when I was talking about smalls and then I forgot is that I actually recorded a tiny little video just before I went for the Stitch in London retreat, because I've never shown you the finish, because on my last Flosstube my small for that retreat was not finished. So before I put my small in the little bag, you know, before I packed it away, I filmed like a little short video just to show you what my small was. So if I find that video, hopefully I will try and insert it here for you guys to see. Hi guys! I just wanted to quickly show you before I pack it up, and this is my small that I'm going to give away for the second small exchange for the Stitch in London retreat. So I finally managed to finish this. Also, sorry if you hear weird noises in the background. I seem to have a new neighbor and he really loves playing his guitar, and now he also started singing. So, and I'm not sure if he is the best singer in the world. So, you have to put up with it if you hear it. If I have to, you have to too. So, this is my heart. This is gonna be quick. This is the heart, the folk heart from the Modern Folk Embroidery. Also, I have a cut on my finger, so sorry for the plaster. I cut myself on a heater, so yes, don't ask. I didn't know that heater was a sharp object, but it is. So be careful when you're using heaters. So this is the folk heart from the Modern Folk Embroidery, and you can see that I've stitched it, well, basically I've stitched it on 18 count Davosa or Davosa, I'm not sure how you say it, but it's this kind of fabric, the same fabric that I used for my biscornu a few months ago. And I also, so I stitched it on both sides, and then I tried very hard to join these two sides together, which was a big struggle, but I somehow managed to make it like into a little pillow kind of thing. And what else? And then I put this little cording, like the twisted cord. I just bought it. I didn't make it myself. So I bought this twisted cord on eBay, and I thought it matches really nicely with this is the MC 815. Yeah, and I struggled a bit also to put the cord around and then to know what to do, how to close it. So I did this kind of thing. Yeah, so... So this may not be the greatest finish in the world, but I'm quite happy with it. I've never made anything like this. I think it looks quite nice and neat, and hopefully the person who gets it will be happy with it. Anyway, I'm going to finish this here, and I guess I'm going to insert this into Flosstube, so you're probably going to go... Sorry guys. Yes, you're going to go back into the main Flosstube video, and I hope you enjoy it. Bye! Okay, so now I'm going to show you my whips, but they will be in no particular order, I think, because I can't make any sense. I was picking things at the retreat or not at the retreat, some of them both at the retreat and not at the retreat in different order, so it's just confusing. So just no order, just whatever is first on my pile. In this case, the first thing on my pile is the Moons of 2022. Oh, and that's actually an exciting one. So the first show of my haul. See, I can kind of split it throughout the video, then it's not as bad as showing everything at the end. So I got this, so I got this at the Floss Friends UK. I'm too excited. I got myself a project bag, guys. I don't have many project bags, so that was very exciting. And when I saw this one, I thought that, well, this is perfect for me because I love the moon. I don't know why I love the moon, but I love projects that have moon in them. I love artwork that has moon in them, so I think like I'm always gonna have a project that has a moon in it. It also has a sun, but I'm kind of, well, I like them both. Anyway, it's a lovely fabric. It's a project bag, but you know what? I don't actually know who the shop is. Oh, this is really cute. I never saw this. Sorry, the zipper thingy. It's got like a little in the back. It says "Made with a Smile." That's so cute. But another thing that this bag has inside, it even has like this little thing where you can put, if you use bobbins, you can put your bobbins there. So that's exciting. But I really like this bag. I think it's beautiful. Inside of here, it's got like this lovely, another starry kind of fabric that's very similar to the one. They must have been like paired. But they're beautiful fabrics. But I don't know. So there was a lady at the retreat who was selling these lovely bags. But I don't actually know what her name was. And I should have asked her really. Maybe someone here who was also at the retreat knows. What was the name of the lady who was selling these bags? She was sitting at the table next to the table with the bags, like right next to it, so that she had her back to the table. So if you know what is the shop name, so I can put the link in my description, then please let me know in the comments. I will be really grateful, or drop me a message on Instagram. Thank you, because I don't actually know who I bought this bag from. I bought it pretty much almost straight away when I got there. It was very quick. And at this point I was still in a bit of like a haze and shock, and I was also a bit scared to ask people for their names and whatnot. I didn't know what you should say. I was being really awkward with people. So I apologize, but because of that I never found out what the name of this lady was. But hopefully we will find out, and if I do, I will put it in the description below this video so that you can find out as well. Okay, so that's okay. But why did I pull this bag? Because I was telling you about my first whip, and my first whip is the Moons of 2022, which is if you've been on this channel you will know this. I'm not stitching this version. And to tell you the short story, I'm stitching the alternative version, which is like the version without the table in the middle, and I'm also stitching these bordery things, well, these twiddly bits on the side. So I'm kind of modifying the smaller version of this chart, if that makes any sense. Probably not, but you will see it when I finish it. And then you will know what I meant. And so you have to watch for another however many months or years it will take me to finish this. But so if I find the picture from the last time I've shown you this, then I will insert it here. Sorry, I'm looking for my things. And today, so this one, I don't think I've worked on it at the retreat, but I've worked on it at the hotel. And I think at home as well, but honestly I can't remember. I can put it, I don't have professional board, if such thing exists. I just have an old envelope that I use here, so it's a bit, it doesn't work, but told you it doesn't work. But hopefully you can see. So last time I think I only just started. I think I had the star, but I didn't have the moon, and I didn't have these 3 stars either. So now I've done the moon, I finished the moon, and I'm kind of mapping out the rest of the sky. So I'm using these, so you can see that I'm counting when I stitch the blue. So I'm counting the blue stitches because I'm really bad on, because this is stitched on 32 count Murano. So because it's 2/2, I struggle to stitch I struggle to count the empty spaces. So it's easier for me to count the stitches as I add them in. So that's why I'm stitching, like for example this line or this line, rather than counting empty spaces, because that would be very error prone. I'm actually counting the stitches, and that's a bit easier. And then that kind of allows me to map the sky. So for now, I'm just like mapping all the stars. And then eventually I'll actually stitch like all of this basically is just filling in the dark blue color. There's nothing else there. Yeah, and then here, this is where the sky finishes, I think. And then underneath you've got all the like birds and deer and trees and all the cute things. But yeah, I think this is looking good now. So yeah. I don't know what else to say. I'm stitching it in DMCs, not in, because there's two options. I think you can stitch it in NPI or you can stitch it in DMC, and I stitch it in DMC. And that's, I think, about it. I don't know if I have anything else to say about this one. If yes, then I forgot. Okay, moving on to the next thing on my pile is... I don't know where to put stuff. I've got stuff everywhere. Like, where do I put this now? There, over there, somewhere far away. Okay. Oh, next thing on my pile is Lady Halloween. Okay, Lady Halloween. She is also stitched on 32 count Murano, but a little bit darker. So I think this is like well, I always forget the name of this fabric. It's not cream. It's something else. I should, somewhere here. I have so much stuff everywhere, guys. So much stuff. Here I have this thing, which is called Cover. But I should really maybe insert a picture because I'm actually stitching her in colored version. So she was charted black and white and gray, but then someone stitched her with autumn like oranges and black, and then now you can buy either version in the shop, and I'm actually stitching the colored version. But also here somewhere, but it doesn't say the color because it just says here that it's 32 count Murano, but it doesn't say the color, so I can't remember what color she is. But I will put it in the description below so that you can find out as well. Because I try and list my projects in the description, but I may sometimes forget to add some details. Then you can always ask me if you want to know something specific, and I will try and find out that information. But anyway, so yeah, so you've seen what she's meant to look like. Now, okay, last time, okay, let me try and find a picture insert here of what she looked like last time. And here is what she looks like now. So maybe I didn't make as much progress on her as I should have, seeing that it's October. But it's because I wanted to make progress on everything else. And somehow I've just wanted to stitch so many different things this month, not necessarily autumn related, or not necessarily, like, definitely, I think she's my only Halloween project for now. But she doesn't have to only be stitched in October. Like, I'm gonna stitch on her throughout the year as well. And maybe by next Halloween she'll be done. Who knows? Maybe. Yeah. I figured I will stitch on her this coming week. So today is the 23rd of October. So I think I will stitch on her this coming week, mainly. Though I really struggle to stitch only on one thing for a week. It's almost impossible. Actually, yes, it's a lie. It's not gonna happen. But this week, at some point, I will stitch on her. Right? I will stitch on her, and I will try and finish at least that. There's like what's in that corner? There's like a motif, like kind of Quakery kind of motif here, and also there's this lovely, cute little frog, which probably you can't see on this tiny picture, but it's orange. It's a cute orange frog, and I'd really love to stitch that frog. So that's where I'm going. I really love this project. I really do. It's one of my favorites, even though I've not done a lot of stitching on it, but it is, I think it's looking wonderful. I think I've enabled Andrea to start it as well. So that's fun. Okay, right, that's fine. The needle minder is a lovely black cat from Caterpillar Cross Stitch, and I actually met the lovely lady from Caterpillar Cross Stitch who runs it, and I can't remember what her name is, but she was at Stitch in London. Sally, I think it's Sally, and And yeah, and I could see some of the finished caterpillar cross stitch kits, and they're lovely. And I'd really love to stitch the autumn tree one. I really love that one. I think all the trees are lovely, but I really like autumn things. So I think that's the first one I would do. Yeah, so that's that. Right, let me tidy up here a little bit. So another thing that I stitched is, of course, my lovely seahorse. So if you've been on my channel before, you've definitely seen the seahorse, because I go on about it almost in every single video. So the seahorse by Leslie Tier, I will insert a picture here of what it's meant to look like when it's finished. He's one of my favorite projects. I really love him. Though I kind of struggled to stitch on him at the retreats. I don't know. I started noticing how wonky all my stitches are. And I'm not sure also why that is. But in the seahorse, it's like my stitches are more wonky than in all my other projects. And I think maybe it's because I'm stitching it on hand-dyed Aida. And somehow, I don't know, this Aida is very soft, and maybe it's not like as supportive of the stitches. So I don't know what it is. But I'm a bit like, I was kind of feeling embarrassed when I was looking at it. Okay, it looks very wonky. But at the same time, I love the fabric. It's so sparkly and beautiful. And I love the actual design itself. So I really like looking at it. Yeah, but anyway, so last time when you saw it, the seahorse looked like this. And today, there's not so much progress, but I've managed to finish, I think, most of his belly. So he's got a belly now, and we've had a discussion that because he's got a big belly, he must be the male seahorse. That's what the ladies at the retreat were saying at Stitch in London. So he's got like a big belly now. So it must be the daddy seahorse, the guy seahorse who's carrying all the babies. Yeah, but isn't he beautiful? I think from far away, when you can't see how wonky I'm losing my mind. I can't. It's too late in the evening. I can't speak. I want to say that from far away, I think he looks good. That's basically the main thing I wanted to say. I love looking at him. I can look at him all the time, honestly. Especially in camera. He's very photogenic, I think. He looks great on camera. Yeah. So that's where he is. He's not so far from finishing. If I actually spend a few days, I could finish him. Because now I just need to finish his tail. And then these stripy things. And then just, the back stitch. Which is like, there's still quite a bit of back stitch here. With the cranic. And then there's also, I forgot about the seaweed. So there's still also the seaweed. And then there's beads around. Okay, well done. Never mind. he's getting closer to finishing, but he's not there yet. But he's beautiful. Right. And I think it was Karen who really liked the seahorse. I'm thinking I may do a seahorse giveaway. Kind of, but not today, because I don't have anything today. But I think maybe like it would be fun to give away the seahorse chart, maybe like in my next video or sometime soon. I think so. I don't know. But I really like this chart, and I think more people, I've never seen anybody else stitch this chart. And I think more people should be stitching the seahorse. He's pretty. He's so cute. Come on, guys, stitch the seahorse. Right, okay. So that's the seahorse. Now, okay, next thing on my pile, that really doesn't have a lot of progress, but I'll show you anyway, since I've got it here, and just to show you that I've worked on something. Fairy tales live on rooftops. That one is the kit from RTO, though I'm not using the original fabric, which was this gray, sad gray. I'm not using that. I restarted it on a different fabric. This is my oldest whip, and I don't know, it's gonna take me a long time to finish at this rate. I don't know why, but for some reason this project is always at the end of my list. of the projects I think about stitching. But I've made some progress on it. So last time when you saw it, I'll try and insert the picture here. Okay, I had some of the sky. I made some progress on the sky. Now I made some more progress on the sky. So I think I managed to fill in this cloud and the next cloud and like another cloud. Yeah, so I finished some of the clouds and I'm almost done with the sky. I think I just have a few dots here and there, and obviously here above the buildings that's a bit more. But I'm almost there with the sky. Now this one is very hard to show, but maybe like this you can see the bird that's there. Yeah. Yeah, so the sky is almost done, and then I can go back and work on the buildings, which maybe will be slightly more interesting, but it's only a little bit interesting because because if you look at the colors in this kit, I've put them in bags because they were annoying me, they were getting tangled and whatnot, but they were like light blue, grey, another grey, 5 other greys, and blue and grey and blue, but they're like grey blues. They're not like blue, they're like grey blue and grey and a bit of white. and, and I think it's these colors, they tire me. They don't stitch, they're not the colors that I'm excited to stitch with, you know. I like blues, but I like the seahorse blues, like the bright blues, the very bright blues, but the kind of grey blues, I don't know. So I like this project lacks a bit of variation in color for me. I think that's part of the issue. But it's you know, small steps, and one day we will get there. It will happen one day. Okay. So anyway, let me tidy up again. Okay, so this I'm not sure if it really counts as progress, but I can show you anyway. Basically what happened, when I was at Stitch in London, I took with me my modern folk embroidery Fruit of Plenty, which I'm still almost where I was. So like I don't know when this is gonna get finished. I think this is my second oldest whip. So somehow the oldest whips are getting the least love. Yeah, I don't know why that is. Because I do love this one. I really love this one. And I took it out. I think it's because Justine was missing a thread. She was missing 815. And I'm stitching this one with 815. I was like, I've got 815. and then like I was telling the story about this one, and then I showed it to everyone. And you know what? That's the funny thing. Maybe now I feel more motivated actually to work on it after the Stitch in London, because I was feeling really embarrassed about it. Because when I first started this Fruit of Plenty, I was a very new stitcher. I never stitched on linen before that. I've never stitched on anything. I think the highest count was like 16 count Aida that I've ever stitched on. And yeah, I stitched like 3 projects, I think, total in my life. I don't know. And then I saw all these lovely pictures on Instagram of people stitching this one, and I wanted to stitch it too. But I didn't want the fabric to be huge. So I said, oh, I need something with higher count. Somehow it didn't occur to me to do 20 count Aida. Maybe I just felt like I'm missing out because I was starting to look at, maybe I started looking at some Flosstube and I heard a lot about like linens and stuff. Maybe I got jealous. I don't know. Maybe I thought that you have to stitch it on linen for some reason. I'm not sure. I didn't know very much at that point. Maybe I didn't know there was a 20 count Aida. That's also a possibility. I don't know. But I didn't want it to be huge. So I decided to go for 40 count. Not ever having previously stitched on linen. But the thing is, yeah, because I think I also I didn't want to spend a lot, because I was also really worried it wasn't going to work out, that I wouldn't know how to stitch it. that I wouldn't know how to stitch on linen, so I decided, you know, I can't spend too much, so I just bought like a piece of linen, a Newcastle linen from eBay. And I wanted it to fit on 50 by 70, basically on the fat quarter. So I bought that off eBay, and then I started stitching it. Kind of in the wrong place, but that's a different part of the story. But I didn't know at that point that if you go to higher count, most people would assume, like, would stitch it in one strand of floss. Like, I didn't know that. It didn't even occur to me that there's something I should think about. So I started stitching it in 2 threads, and I've stitched, you know, a big chunk of it before I realized, because I was watching more and more Flosstube, and I was hearing more and more people say that on 40 count they stitch 1/1, and someone even said, oh, it's a shame you can't stitch 1/. You know what I mean, guys, that most people say they stitch with 1 thread on 40 count, and someone said even in their video that it's a shame that you can't stitch on 40 count with 2 strands. And then I had this moment of revelation, like, oh, how come I've been stitching on 40 count with 2 strands for God knows how many weeks. So that was too late, but also I love it. I love how it looks, and to be honest, I wouldn't stitch it differently now that I've seen how the 2 strands on 40 count look. I wouldn't stitch it differently, but I was so embarrassed about it. I thought that it must be something really wrong to do, and if I show it to other people, they will be like, oh, what you know, what a stupid person. Like, what is she even like? She's stitching on 40 count with 2 strands. So I was afraid to show it to people. And do you know, when I showed it to the ladies in Stitch in London, they really loved it. They seemed to really like it. And then I was like, oh, so maybe it's not such a bad thing to do. So now I don't feel as bad about stitching it this way. And yeah, I think now I have more motivation to continue working on it. But I also had a realization. So when I was showing it to the ladies, anyway, if you have no idea what I'm talking about, but I'm sure you've seen it before, the Fruit of Plenty Sal 2021 from the Modern Folk Embroidery looks like this. I won't bother because there's literally almost no progress. So you just see what it looks like today, and also because I've actually so what happened is I've actually went back and changed something from the initial section, because as I was showing it to people at the retreat, I realized that I don't actually like, well, to be fair, I knew this already, that I wasn't completely happy with my first square. That I felt like the colors weren't balanced, that I didn't have, so I'm stitching it in 3 colors. Let me show you actually. I'm stitching it in 3 colors. My 3 colors are, I can't hold this, but this beautiful 815, which is this burgundy red, and this beautiful blue 3750, and this beautiful brown, which is 844, all DMCs. And I wasn't entirely happy with the balance of colors in my first square, because I realized after I stitched it that there wasn't enough brown and there was a bit too much red and blue. And now if I would have gone back, that's what I said to one of the ladies at the retreat. I was like, if I would go back now, I would have replaced some of this red or some of this blue with brown. And then I was on the tube back and I was thinking about it. I was thinking like, why don't you just rip it out and just replace it with brown if you don't like it? Like, what is stopping you? And then the next day I did that. So now I've got more brown. I didn't replace every, like, I left some of these red branches and just replaced this one with brown and this one. And I think some of these twiddly bits I replaced with brown. I also did a silly thing. I made his beak brown and his legs are brown. That may be a bit of a silly thing to do, but I couldn't stop myself from doing it. And so that's what I did. And I think at the retreat itself, I finished this flower, but that was literally all oh no, maybe I did this as well. I don't think that was there before, because I would have counted it off the flower. So, but that's literally all I did in terms of progress. So I actually went backwards. But isn't it beautiful, guys? Come on, come on. I love it. I love it. It looks beautiful. Even though it is 2 strands on 40 count. Come on, guys. It can be done. It's possible. I am proving everybody wrong. Unintentionally. But what was I gonna say? I've forgotten. I have no idea. But this is, yes, this is a Newcastle. This is just raw linen. Yeah, and I have no idea what I was gonna say now. Maybe it will come back to me later. But anyway, this is you know what? Yeah, and I was really thinking about it because when I was in Redford initially, that was the first retreat. I was looking at there was a lot of people stitching with 1 strand, and I felt like maybe that's what you should be doing, and I'm doing wrong by stitching with 2 strands. But then you know what, Lauren from Flossabilities, I think this is high count as well. This may even be 40 as well, to be honest, because it is a really high count fabric, and it's stitched with 2 strands as well. So I'm not the only person who stitches with 2 strands on high count. And I just love the brightness. I wouldn't do it maybe always, like for 40 count. But I've now figured out, I can tell you this because I've done an experiment. So I've done an experiment. And I figured I can tolerate, I can tolerate. So 1 strand on 40 count still gives good enough coverage that I like it. Okay, I like it. It's not as bright in terms of the color intensity as when you stitch with 2 strands, but the coverage is fine. But I tried stitching with 1 strand on 36 count, and I can tell you I will never do it because I hate it. I actually tried. So I have a new start. My new start, when I was at the retreat and I was in a hotel and I was scrolling on Instagram, I noticed a couple of new releases from the Owl Forest embroidery, which I fell in love with straight away. And I kind of want to start them both straight away, but I only started one straight away, so it's not so bad. But they released the Squirrel chart, which is super cute, super cute. I'll insert it here. And that's the one that I started. There's another one that's beautiful. It's I think it's called the Firebird, like the one from Stravinsky's ballet. We played the Firebird with orchestra and I loved it. I had so much fun playing it. It's a very exciting piece. I really love it. But anyway, the Firebird looks lovely as well. And yes, I'd really love to stitch that one day as well. But so I saw it when I was in a hotel in Redford. And then the next day, when I was there, I saw Megan from Coffee Craft Fabrics. She was on both retreats, or at least she wasn't in Redford, but her fabrics were in Redford, and her floss, hand-dyed fabrics and floss were in Redford. So she hand-dyed some fabrics for a design that was specifically designed by Sammy for the Floss Friends retreat. I didn't get this design. It's a very samplery design, which is very pretty, but it's not really the kind of design that I would normally stitch. So as much as I appreciate it, I didn't choose to stitch that one because anyway, I have too many things I'm stitching already. But Megan from Coffee Crafts hand-dyed this beautiful green, but it's not like very, I'll show you. It's this. Well, it's a bit, okay, my camera makes it a bit pale. It's not as pale as this. It's a bit more intense than on my camera right now. It's a bit more green, but it's not very intense. It's like this pale, it's very subtle green. It's a lovely green. Believe me, guys, believe me. But anyway, so I've decided to stitch my squirrel on it. So basically, I got myself one piece of that fabric, and yeah, and now I can stitch my squirrel on it. And I'm stitching it in DMC because obviously you can get the Owl Forest threads. And I considered ordering, but I just wanted to start it, guys. And so what I did, because I considered ordering some variegated threads, but I realized I still have some variegated DMC from this guy left over. And I found perfect. Well, perfect. I thought that was a perfect color for the squirrel. I honestly thought that. Is this one. 4130 DMC. It looks a bit red on my camera, but it's actually like, it's like a brownish, orange, golden, I don't know. But it's actually really good. It's great. I think it's a perfect color for a squirrel. And I don't mean a British squirrel, because in Britain, squirrels are mainly, well, in most places at least, they are grey. I don't know why. But I guess it's just a type of grey squirrel. But in Poland, we mostly have red squirrels, and this one is a red squirrel as well, and that's what she looks like. So, yeah, I don't know what to say. Yeah, my camera could make her a bit brighter. She's a little bit paler than she is in real life, and the fabric is also a little bit paler than it is in real life. But that's what she looks like. And this needle minder I got from Edita also at the retreat. Isn't it lovely? Yes. And this is just one of the DMCs. I can't remember which one, but just a normal. I think I'm gonna use one more variegated DMC. There's a bit in her tail that's also variegated, and some of these bits around. So I think I'm gonna use that. I didn't have a good variegated green, so I just did a solid green as well. But anyway, that's my new start. And that made me think that I should also start my other squirrel. Oh, sorry guys, I knocked the camera. But that made me think I should also start my other squirrel, which I've had for a long time in my stash. But I didn't really have a lot of time. And now I wanted to stitch too many things, that's the problem. So I was stitching on other things, but today I made a start. I made a start on the other squirrel, a very tiny start, but I'm trying to find out where this. I have no idea where is it. Here, okay, I see it. Okay, that's fine. But anyway, the squirrel that I'm talking about is this one. So it's gathering acorns from the Cottage garden samplings that you may have seen. Quite a few people stitched that one, but I think it's another lovely squirrel. And I thought, so that I have two squirrels, you know, they'll make lovely friends. So I should start this one too. But I literally just made a start on it today, and it's tiny. But I can show you another needle minder that I got at the retreat. Look at that, guys. That's a lovely leaf needle minder. I got a couple more. I'll show you in a minute from this seller. Yeah, I'll show you that this is it. So I got this lovely leaf needle minder, and there's somewhere there. I don't even know. Yeah, I think this is the right direction. This is the middle of the squirrel. It's nothing. It's gonna be stitched in DMCs. And this is, so the other one, yes, so that's what I was trying to tell you. So this is 40 count. It's Zweigart. I think this is vintage Mocha. 40 count vintage Mocha. And the other one was 36 count. And so this one, okay, I will stitch it as I should with one strand of floss. But this one, that's what I wanted to tell you. I actually started it. I stitched the whole head with one strand, and then I was like, no, I don't like it. I don't like all the fabric coming through. It's got like no color, and like I was really, no, this is not for me. So on 36 count, I would still stitch, I think, with two strands. In this case, because I already stitched the head, what I decided to do is just stitch another strand on top. So the top leg of each stitch here has two strands, and the bottom has one. So I don't know, I guess you could call this 1.5 over 2. I don't know, it's not quite 2, but it's almost a 2. Right, so that's my squirrel story, and I think we're almost there. Yes. God, I have too many things. Maybe I should just show you the rest next time. Maybe I should do part 2 next week, because I'm really tired. How about you know what, I'll show you the other two needle minders that I wanted to show you. Ooh, yeah, I'm dropping things. It's getting too much. I need to go to sleep. I had the needle minders somewhere. Okay, I found them. So I bought 3 needle minders in Stitch in London, all from the same seller. So the seller is called Cotton and Clay. You can find them on Etsy. I will link them below. But they're called Cotton. I can see this. Sorry, there's a price tag on top. Here, Cotton and Clay UK on Etsy, and they're also on Instagram as well. So the one with the leaf you've seen. The second one, so the leaf is for the autumnal for the full full design. And then I got a snowflake because I realized I don't have any needle minder that's wintry, and this snowflake was very pretty, so I got myself a snowflake. And then I got another, I guess autumn, but you know, they're universal. Owls are universal. So I got myself the owl needle minder as well. Yeah, so I got these 3 needle minders. So yeah, I recommend you check them out because they're lovely needle minders. Okay, I think this video is too long. So I think what we're gonna do now, I'm gonna stop it here. And I was actually considering recording another Flosstube for just like a quick Halloween catch up. See if I made any progress on my Halloween lady. So I think we'll just do part 2 next week. No, I'm almost there, but I'm exhausted. You guys are exhausted from listening to me. I've got too much stuff to show you. So we will finish this conversation in the next episode, to be continued. It's like a cliffhanger, so then you have to watch the next one. No, that's my strategy. So I honestly don't want to exhaust you guys. So we'll finish for tonight or today, and I'll catch up with you in a few days' time. I think I will. Yes, I will catch up with you in a few days' time, and by then I will have more stitching. So it will be again. No. It will be just a few days, and I'll mostly be stitching on Lady Halloween because that's what I've said, right? Maybe the squirrels. Yeah. So I hope you had fun. I feel really funny. I don't know. I told you, evenings are not my time of the day. And anyway, I didn't realize how much stuff I had to show you. I don't know. A lot of stuff. Right. So we're gonna say goodbye for tonight. You guys, well, if it's evening, then sleep tight, have a lovely evening, sweet dreams, and then have a good morning the next day. And for you guys who have the morning, then have a lovely day. I hope everything goes well for you today, and I hope that you will come back to see my next video. If you're not subscribing yet, please consider subscribing. There's the button down there, and there's a bell next to it that you can click, and then you will get notified about my next video. I post mostly videos lately about cross stitch, mostly because my diamond painting mojo has gone somewhere. It's not here, but eventually there may be a video about diamond painting as well, or there may be a video about some other crafts. You never know here. So anyway, I'll let you guys go. Yeah, I hope to see you next time. Thank you for joining me tonight. Bye.